Hello everybody, it is Jamarcus and I'm here with week 2 of the BHA. We are faced off against Wolf, who has a grassy terrain team with Sneasler, the quintessential Rillaboom Sneasler. Um, an Excadrill on this team too, which is the second time I faced this core. We beat it first try, so let's see if we can beat it this time too. Also some very great Pokemon into Hyper Offense. This thing clicking a Scale Shot. This thing has Disguise. This thing I have no switch into, and Terra Umbreon's really hard to break. And there's webs. So there's a lot of options my opponent has, and they also have Sneasler, which can outspeed everything on my team, even before Unburden. So, looking at my team, what looks good, what looks bad. Blaziken, pretty much hard countered by Mimikyu, unless I bring a multi-hitting move like Dual Wing Beat, if it even gets that, but that's not going to kill it anyways. So, Blaziken's going to really struggle unless I can break Mimikyu's Disguise early, but I don't know that that's going to happen. Excadrill's a pretty big problem. A lot of my sweepers, or a lot, my two sweepers, of these two at least, uh, resist all of their stabs, so I have to rely on coverage, which Earthquake coverage I can't bring because of Rillaboom, and then Earth Power is going to do a lot, but then that's prediction reliant, and they have a lot of Earth Power switch-ins. So Iron Treads is good support. T-Spikes I think look good. That forces Sneasler out when it doesn't want to be out, so I think Lamora looks good, even like Fizz Def just to help defensively against some of their Pokemon. I think Hydreigon is okay. It outspeeds um, Haxorus, so if I bring Scarf, it outspeeds a +1 Haxorus. That could be really helpful. Necrozma is definitely coming to this game, and so is Enamorus. They're just too powerful not to. Grimmsnarl screens I think are okay. I didn't actually end up bringing them. I decided to go for Trick Room instead. I think Trick Room looked pretty nice into this team. So since I brought Trick Room, I of course brought Indeedee. Now, I was really deciding Indeedee male or female. Male is so much better offensively because it gets expanding force. Indeedee female does not. So Indeedee male gets expanding force, but it's faster, which is bad for Trick Room, but it has more special attack, which is good. Indeedee female, on the other hand, does not get expanding force. It's slower, which actually matters because min speed Indeedee male does not underspeed a base Umbreon, but Indeedee female does. So I really thought maybe I should bring female so I can be slower than Umbreon and Trick Room, but I decided Expanding Force was just too important, even with the bulk that Indeedee female brings. I thought Expanding Force was just too important, especially because their only Dark type is their Terra Captain. So if that Terra's out, then Expanding Force is a pretty free click. I also brought Indeedee because it changes terrain on Rillaboom, which is really important, so I can prevent Sneasler from getting their Grassy Seed if I want. So let's take a look at the team. Iron Tread's just a support moveset. I brought Steel Roller as another option to get rid of terrain. Also just a really strong move. I have my own terrain too, so it's pretty consistent that terrain's going to be up this game. High Horsepower, just as good stab. Ice Spinner for coverage, and then Knockoff to help get rid of boots or something like that. Citrus Berry and DD, my quintessential Citrus Berry. When I don't know what else to put on something, I bring Citrus Berry. Max HP, max special attack with min speed. Expanding Force, Dazzling Gleam just as offensive moves. Trick Room, because I have a Trick Room team. And then Healing Wish to try and heal something else up. If I need to sack myself, like if I want to set up Trick Room and then click Healing Wish to bring in Enamorus or something like that. Now, I know I brought a Trick Room team, but I did want some speed, which is why I brought Booster Energy Treads, Booster Speed, and then also Hydreigon with a Scarf, but we'll get to that. Just because it's Trick Room doesn't mean I need to have 6 slow Pokemon. I have quite a few options for Trick Room already. Alright, next up is Enamorus. Last week I brought Weakness Policy and it failed terribly, so let's just try Specs. Sex Moonblast, they don't really want to switch into, oops. Um, if Umbreon Terra poisons, then that's a different story. Like Moira is probably not coming. Excadrill's not the bulkiest of things. So Specs Moonblast is a pretty nice click into their team, and then I just have Earth Power Sludge Bomb as coverage. Sludge Bomb in case they bring Terra Fairy on Umbreon. But even then, Moonblast is doing a lot. It's also nice for Rillaboom, I guess. That Healing Wish last move, I didn't really need coverage, so if that comes into play and I want to Healing Wish up my Glamora or something, then that's there. I also have Swords Dance, Life Orb, Necrozma. Photon Geyser does a lot of damage into a lot of the team. It's also fantastic into Mimikyu because it goes through Disguise, which means I can pretty much just OHKO Mimikyu, which is a huge threat for the rest of my team. Takes a hit from anything and does a lot of damage. So Photon Geyser really only has these three switch-ins, which I was trying to find something that, an option that covered them all. I ended up going with Knockoff, which totally loses to Umbreon if it doesn't Terra, but I expected that thing to be clicking Terra early on to help against Enamorus. So I just went with Knockoff. It's good for Braviary, it's okay for Excadrill. There weren't a ton of other options. I could have gone Stone Edge, but then I'm weaker into Excadrill, and Stone Edge doesn't really do that much to Umbreon anyways. So I thought Knockoff was fine, and then I have Swords Dance and Trick Room, just another Trick Room setter. These are my only Trick Room setters, but I think it should be enough. Even if I get Trick Room up once this game, I should be killing half of their team. So I need some bulk, so I brought max defense, or sorry, max HP, max speed Glamora. I thought this was max defense, I was wrong. Um, this thing, oh, I brought enough speed because I wanted to be outspeeding a Rillaboom, but in hindsight, I probably didn't need all that speed. I guess it's nice because there's a lot of Pokemon just below Rillaboom that I could be outspeeding. So, spikes, get up spikes. Their hazard removal is Excadrill, which if they spit on me, which they should probably just be clicking Earthquake, but if they spit on me, then that sets up T-Spikes. Although I think it removes the T-Spikes too. I didn't check that. Mortal Spin, because I want hazard removal. I didn't bring Spin on Iron Treads. Earth Power to do some damage, especially for Sneasler, so it's not just setting up on me. And then Spiky Shield helps against their team because it's largely physical attackers. Then Rocky Helmet just to get some extra chip on something like a U-turn like a Rillaboom. This thing is also my Play Rough switch-in from Mimikyu. The rest of my team really does not want to be taking a Play Rough. Iron Treads I guess can, but I expect to be using this thing early on. And then my final Pokemon, Choice Scarf Hydreigon, just in case I've already used my booster energy and I want something fast. I do have that Hydreigon. Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse, just good stabs into their team. Nothing really wants to take that besides a Terra Fairy on Umbreon. I have Earth Power as coverage. I don't think I'll really click that and then use your last move. I don't think Flash Cannon's a good option either, so that is my team. Let's take a look at how it went. So, off of lead, I'm looking at their team. They do have the grounded poison and they have spin, so Glamora suffers a little bit from that, but Glamora is fantastic into Rillaboom and fantastic into Mimikyu. They do have a Shell Smash Sweeper, which I need to be careful of. And they brought the Cryogonal and not the Umbreon, which is fantastic for me. There's no webs either, but they do have the Mimikyu, which I need to watch out for. So, off of lead, they lead Cryogonal, I lead Hydreigon, I'm Scarfed, I'm going to outspeed their whole team, unless they're Scarf Sneasler, which if they bring that, I would probably scout and go to Glamora. So, I just decide I want to click U-turn, I want to get out of here. If they were Scarfed faster than me, oh well, Terra Ice would have killed me. But I just bring out Necrozma early, I want to get up Trick Room, I want to do some damage. This thing is not going to be taking moves comfortably. I didn't want to take an Ice move on Enamorus, even though it's also going to do a lot of damage. And I didn't want to take a Terra Blast on Iron Treads. So they click Freeze Ray. It does a lot of damage, which I find that to be max special attack modest. I did a couple calcs. So I know, okay, they're not the bulkiest. They either have a lot of speed or maybe they're max HP. Either way, they're not going to take this Photon Geyser too comfortably. But I do decide that I want to get Trick Room up first. I luckily don't get frozen. Had I got frozen, it would have been a very different game. But I click Photon Geyser and it just drops because Life Orb, Stab, Photon Geyser is going to do a lot of damage. They bring out Mimikyu to Shadow Sneak me. So I go into Indeedee because I'm immune. It also sets up Psychic Terrain so it stops other things from being Shadow Sneaked. I don't know. I was thinking to myself, maybe I just click Photon Geyser. They decide they want to set up and use their disguise, and it goes through their disguise and just does a lot of damage. Maybe even kills it. I didn't calc, but it would do a lot of damage, 80% plus. But I decide no, they're just gonna Shadow Sneak me. Let me get in Indeedee. So I do, and they click Swords Dance. So not a great position for me. I still have 2 turns of Trick Room after this turn, and I have Psychic Terrain up, so this thing cannot Shadow Sneak. I can go Glamora safely. But I don't make that play. I just decide I want to break this thing's disguise. and then they play rough and kill me. So I lost a Trick Room setter, and my other Trick Room setter is at 26%, and I have not killed half of their team like I was hoping to. So in a pretty bad spot. I definitely should have just gone Glamora there. I would have gotten Rocky Helmet Chip. I would have gotten a T-Spike up, which would have forced Sneasler in soon. Uh, just would have been in a much better spot. I would have still had this thing, which Psychic move into their team's pretty free as well. But I sack. That means I also cannot change terrain unless I want to click Steel Roller. But I get my kill with Enamorous. They bring out Rillaboom, which is surprising to me. I'm like, what does this thing do to me? I'm just gonna click Moonblast. So they U-turn for no damage. They go Excadrill, and they take a ton of damage from Moonblast. They also lose their Balloon, which is fantastic for me, which means Iron Treads can kill this thing now. And then I go to Iron Treads, because I'm figuring they're not going to click a ground move here. Or they're not going to click... Yeah, they're not going to click a ground move. They're going to click Iron Head here, because they want to kill my Enamorous. So, I go into Iron Treads, and this thing looks fantastic right now. They're going to bring in Sneasler pretty comfortably here. I believe I just stay in, because I do not want to let this thing set up for free. So yeah, I just stay in to click High Horsepower, in case they decided to start setting up. Now I go Glamora because I realize that this thing probably just beats the rest of their team. They low kick, doesn't do much damage. I Earth Power, it does a lot. I thought about clicking Spiky Shield here, or Earth Power, or even Spikes. Or not Earth Power, I meant Spiky Shield or Spikes, because they're going to die to Helmet, or especially Spiky Shield damage. But I thought they could click Swords Dance. I don't want to throw the game away. Let's just kill this thing with Earth Power in case they click Swords Dance. They die to Helmet, I get another T-Spike up. Yes, I could have clicked Spike there and gotten a Spike, but I thought it was too risky. If they click Swords Dance and try and sweep me from here, it's definitely doable. Look at like close combat's killing this. Poison move's probably killing Enamorous if they're Gunk Shot. Dire Claw, maybe I'd live. I don't know. And then their Crossbow's dying. So I thought let's just kill it. I Earth Power does a ton of damage. They're gonna try and Shell Smash sweep me, but they're toxic. There's not much they can do at this point. I Spiky Shield, and they die to that damage plus toxic, which means I'm probably taking, or I'm getting one more differential, which is nice. They bring out Rillaboom. I Spiky Shield. I don't really know why I did that. I forgot I Spiky Shielded the turn before. I definitely could. I mean, Earth Power wasn't doing much, but I guess I could click Mortal Spit to do a bit of damage. They take helmet damage. I keep clicking Spiky Shield. I don't think they're Sword Stance. Even if they are, I'm not going to lose the game. Enamorous is always taking a hit anyways. And I think I decide, or I sack Necrozma here. I don't know why I'd made that play. I definitely should have just gone Enamorous. Enamorous is not, I go now, but there was no reason to go Necrozma there. I can just go Enamorous and kill it. So Enamorous gets a couple kills this game. That's nice. I think it killed Mimikyu and Rillaboom, and then I also got a couple kills with Glamora, which is surprising. Not a real offensive threat, although it can be. It has a lot of special attack. But Glamora was fantastic this game. Necrozma I could have played better, but it was good. Enamorous was great. Hydreigon didn't really do anything. In DD I played it pretty poorly, and Churchill, or Iron Treads, was also quite good. So we win that game 4-0. That's going to put us back on the board after our week 1 loss. I didn't bring the Blaziken. I still want my Blaziken sweep. Didn't get it week 1, and then I didn't bring it here. But maybe next week, we'll see. Haven't looked at that matchup yet, so I can't say. That's week 2 of the BHA. I will see you for week 3 shortly. Bye bye.